Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, we've got another Skybound Energon Universe comic to review, and it's a Transformers one. The ultimate doom comes to Earth in Transformers number 11. Today is Friday, August 16th, 2024, and this is episode 403 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that will fight for your world while mine burns. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
This is fine. Hello, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Was that a political statement, Charles? I don't think we try not to get political here on this show, so please refrain from being political. Let's talk Transformers.
I've been co-opted by the woke mind virus. Sorry, Daryl. All right, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. We really appreciate that support. Thank you for continuing to contribute and help keep the show going. It's because of you that we can do this every week, and we've been doing it for over 11 years now. Alt Mode only been going on since 2016, but for Transmissions, the whole network, it's been 11 years. So we're happy to celebrate that. If you are a Donatron, if you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. And of course, as a Donatron, you get lots of perks, including our bonus show, We Like Big Bots. That's all the episodes of that bonus show are on our Patreon page, and every Donatron has access to that. That's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants down there. Those guys are great. They talk a lot about big bots. And just recently, we did release another new episode 14, Shockwave. Anything you guys want to tease about this new episode?
We got a lot of shockwaves. And, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, he's a big character with a big personality, a big presence. Maybe not a big personality. I don't know. Does he have a personality? But
In IDW, he had a big personality.
this is true. This is very true. But between Daryl and I, we had quite a few shockwaves and not a lot of the same ones. So there's quite a few figures to show off there. And if you're a fan of Shockwave, or you're a fan of just big robots or people talking about robots, please watch our show. If you're a Donatreon, if you're not, why not become a Donatreon? Watch the show. Encourage us to make more episodes.
Yell at them repeatedly.
It's the only way it works.
Would you say this episode had a shocking amount of shockwaves?
I don't know about that, but it was definitely a lot.
We should figure out which episode actually had the most robots in it. We should go back.
All right, back to work, you two. We need more episodes. So get back to work. You need episode 15, whatever that is. Get it out. We need it.
All right, I guess.
We've also got our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. This week we released episode 121, Laugh Track, and that's available at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. This Monday will be the bonus version of episode 122, and that will be available only to Donatrons a week early, and then the next week will be the regular release of episode 122. So as a Donatron, you get all those bonus episodes a week early, and they're all still on archived on our Patreon page. You can also buy our exclusive Transformers #1 comic with artwork by EJ Sue. That's available at our website, transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And you can purchase that. We will send that right out to you. This is commissioned as an exclusive for Transformers #1 from last fall. We're coming up on a 1-year anniversary of Transformers #1 from Skybound. So just a couple more months, we'll be crossing that 1-year threshold.
Wow, has it been a year?
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Almost.
Yes,
yeah.
it has. Wow.
I mean, we're on
Yep.
issue 11, so
Yep. 11 months.
There really haven't been delays in the publishing.
Yep.
Mm-mm. I remember I'll tell them, I'm going to tell a little story because I remember being on a business trip. I think I was in Philadelphia and I was waiting to go to the airport, and I was stopping for lunch, and you guys sent me the link to choose our cover. So I was sitting there in a restaurant, a fast food restaurant, can't remember which one, but scrolling through countless covers, thinking, "What the heck are we going to pick here?" And then we all kind of settled on the EJ's cover there. And yeah, I can't believe that was a year ago.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah,
continue on.
All right. Of course, last thing before we get into the rest of the show, we've got our Toyhax 15% off code. Use that code HEATWAVE at toyhax.com, and that'll give you 15% off all your orders at Toyhax. So that's only for the month of August. So until August 31st, you can use that code HEATWAVE to get a 15% off bonus. Cannot be used with any other promo codes, but it can be used with your Robo points. So it's a nice discount you can use as many times as you want. All right, let's start off with some comics news. Okay, so I know hopefully we still have some listeners in the Philippines who are still listening to the podcast, and you should be aware that the SuperManila Comic-Con is getting their an exclusive cover for the Transformers #1 40th anniversary issue that is coming out next month. So if you are going to SuperManila Comic-Con in the Philippines, you can get access to this cover. There's only going to be 1,000 copies printed for the convention, and it is a reprint of Transformers #1 with a custom cover specifically for this for the convention. And it looks like the cover features like well, it's they seem vaguely live action movie designs, like a little bit to me. Except for, I mean, Prime is clearly the kind of the G1 car, but or truck.
I mean,
But
that
he's-
Prime looks like the Rise of the Beast one.
yeah, I was gonna say it's Bumblebee
Oh,
movie
yeah.
Rise of the Beast one kind
Yeah,
of.
that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that part of the world loves their live action Transformers.
Yeah, it's funny that they go with those designs for the going back to the Marvel Comics Transformers #1. But yeah, I think it's still a cool artwork.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is the Marvel #1, the reprint
Yes.
of that. It's not the Skybound #1.
right,
Mhm.
right. Yeah, this is the 40th anniversary comic, and this will SuperManila Comic Con will be September 7th and 8th of 2024. So next month. I don't see in the post who the artist is who did this cover. But
Superstar Von Randall, or up and coming comic superstar Von Randall, and colors by Ellery Santos and Rex Espino.
Okay, there you go.
Do we know
All
when
right.
the issue 1 reprint comes out? What date that comes out on?
I think September.
So it was next month?
because that's when this con is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's either end of August or the beginning of September.
Hmm.
So, Put it in your pull list.
I'm trying.
Okay, next bit of news, we do have a French interview with Daniel Warren Johnson. So the French version of Skybound Transformers is being released. I think this was actually for Free Comic Book Day in France last month. And Daniel Warren Johnson was there promoting the Skybound Transformers comic. And so it was a nice interview. It's a 15-minute long interview, and it's they're promoting, of course, the French release. I believe in France they're getting it all they're getting the first 6 issues as a trade paperback, so rather than like a single issue release, but of course it's all translated to French. Yeah, check out the interview with Daniel Warren Johnson. It's fun and a nice discussion. So, all right. Let's get into our comic review for this week. Okay, this week we are reviewing Transformers number 11. So this is a full spoiler review of Transformers number 11. Well, we were going to talk about the whole issue. So if you haven't read Transformers number 11 yet, you can shut down the podcast and go do something else, then read it, come back, and hear what we think about it. All right, Transformers number 11, writer Daniel Warren Johnson, artist Jorge Corona, colorist Mike Spicer, letterer Russ Wooten, editor Ben Abernathy, logo and publication design Andres Juarez, and production Ashby Florence. So you can see there's the cover there. Let's talk about this story. So we're coming up to the end of the second arc of the Transformers, and this is very much I think we talked about it last when we reviewed issue 10. This is very much echoing the Ultimate Doom storyline from the original G1 comic series. Of course, it's a very different. The telling is very different, but it is the core concern of bringing Cybertron completely into Earth's orbit is causing a lot of havoc. So let's talk about it. As Shockwave's plan moves forward and the planet Cybertron comes through a giant portal into Earth orbit, Beachcomber activates his surf motorboard to go investigate the Decepticons' base in the ocean. He sees the horror of the Decepticons consuming all the sea creatures and converting their bodies to energon that is beamed directly back to Cybertron. Meanwhile, back at the Ark, RC sits with her incapacitated mentor, the recently rescued Ultra Magnus. She tells him how much he means to her and that if she had known he was alive, she would have come for him. But then Alita 1 comes in and interjects that it doesn't matter. RC made a choice to abandon the Autobots on Cybertron, but before she says another word, RC sucker punches her in the mouth. Alita 1 is stunned and RC just declares, "You don't know me," and turns away from her back to the unconscious Ultra Magnus lying in the med bay. Alita 1 walks away while Carly watches the whole exchange with concern. Carly asks RC what happened to Ultra Magnus. RC replies that Shockwave tortured him for hundreds of years. Then Carly makes the connection. Shockwave is the same Decepticon that has Cliffjumper and Jazz now. RC sadly confirms that they're probably being tortured right now. Optimus Prime and Wheeljack come in to check on Ultra Magnus. Prime asks Wheeljack how the repairs are going. Wheeljack answers that he's almost finished, but without Ratchet's medical skills, they will use up all their energon reserves to get Magnus back up to full strength. Another option could be reviving some more of the other offline Autobots instead, but Magnus gets up and directly pleads with Prime that he wants to get back in the fight and be a part of the new Autobot resistance. At the Decepticon headquarters at the bottom of the ocean, Soundwave tells Shockwave that the portal to Cybertron has been repaired. He asks to return to Cybertron with Shockwave to get additional components to repair Ravage. But Shockwave dismisses his concerns and tells him he needs to reflect on his misguided priorities. Shockwave returns to his fortress on Cybertron alone and is greeted by the 3 Combaticons that were left of Cybertron. left on Cybertron. They ask to see the new world that is sending so much energon and what happened to their Combaticon brothers, Onslaught and Brawl. Shockwave harshly tells them to shut up and prepare for combat since the Autobots on Cybertron will surely have detected the spike in their energon levels. Back at the Ark, Wheeljack briefs Optimus Prime on the situation. The Decepticons have established a junction point between the Nemesis on Earth at the bottom of the ocean and Shockwave's fortress on Cybertron. They're sending massive amounts of energon back to their base, all but ensuring their victory over the Autobots still on Cybertron. And Carly, listening to them, reminds them that they also need to rescue Cliffjumper and Jazz. Optimus Prime agrees, but Elita 1 points out it won't be easy since Shockwave has all the advantages now. Optimus continues to say that they must rescue their fellow warriors, but that drives Elita 1 over the edge. She angrily retorts that there was no one to rescue all the Autobots still on Cybertron who were killed when Optimus Prime left the war he helped begin. It was Elita 1 who was left to continue the fight alone. Optimus hesitates, but hardens his resolve to rescue their friends and stop the Decepticons. Later, RC prepares her weapons for the assault on the Decepticons. As Carly watches, she hears RC declare that the Decepticons are animals for what they did to Ultra Magnus and they don't deserve to exist. Carly hesitates and asks RC about her statements earlier about not being consumed by revenge, but she's interrupted when Elita 1 returns. RC doesn't want to talk to her, but Elita 1 wants to reconcile and asks her to join the fight together. Elita 1 returns to find Optimus lost in thought. She asks what he was doing, and he replies that he was thinking of one of the Autobots they lost, his friend Ratchet. He's reminded that Ratchet said he was too concerned with the fate of Earth, but Optimus feels responsible for bringing their war to the humans' world. Elita 1 says the Autobots have to be first concerned with their own and stopping the Decepticons. Prime agrees, but he also thinks the Autobots might need Earth and the humans as much as they need the Autobots. So Elita 1 asks what he plans to do. A frontal assault on the Nemesis would only result in more Autobot deaths. Optimus answers they won't attack the Nemesis head on. Wheeljack has figured out a way to unlock Skywarp's teleportation abilities. Surprisingly, whatever remains of Skywarp's consciousness that it was integrated into Teletran 1 is now allowing them to access his powers. So now they have a way to go directly to the heart of the Nemesis. Optimus plans to leave explosive charges there to take out their base completely. As they continue to discuss their plans, Carly is annoyed that they're leaving her out of everything. She argues that she can be an asset to them as RC's Iron Apprentice now. She wants to help rescue Cliffjumper, but both Optimus and RC tell her she must stay behind and she's not ready. As Skywarp/Teletran 1 opens the portal, they promise her they'll bring Cliffjumper back. Then we return to Beachcomber after he observed the Decepticon activity from the ocean. He returns to Spike and tells him it's very bad and they need to leave. Beachcomber leaves a small energon reserve for the chained-up Astrotrain to keep him functional until the Decepticons find him. Astrotrain curses him and demands he be released, but both Beachcomber and Spike ignore him. Spike asks Beachcomber if there's anything they can do to help stop the Decepticons, but Beachcomber has gone full pacifist and wants nothing to do with war and violence, even in defense of the Earth. Spike reluctantly agrees to leave with him, but as Beachcomber carries him on his shoulder in his wheelchair, Spike sees a deer in the woods. He remembers how distraught Optimus Prime was when he accidentally killed the deer and how Prime would not let the Decepticons continue their destruction without standing against them. Spike realizes that he can't leave the others to fight this battle. He doesn't feel right fighting, but he knows he can't run away. In the Nemesis, Shockwave continues to torture Jazz and Cliffjumper. He's actually impressed by their resistance, but he'll continue to torture until he gets what he wants. And since they won't talk, he grabs a tool to extract information directly from Cliffjumper's spark. He promises the process will be extremely painful. Jazz angrily demands to leave him alone, but Shockwave ignores him. But he can't ignore Optimus Prime at his back, holding his blaster to his head. The cavalry has arrived, courtesy of Skywarp's teleportation. Shockwave is surprised, but realizes he's at a disadvantage and backs up. While Prime keeps a watch on Shockwave, he checks on the state of Jazz and Cliffjumper. Jazz is all right, but Cliffjumper has been badly damaged. Elita 1 comes in and tells Prime the charges have been set so they can leave. But then RC goes rogue and shoves her gun in Shockwave's eye, taunting him. Optimus tells her to stop and don't give in to her rage. RC starts to recover, but this is enough of a distraction for Shockwave to deliver a roundhouse kick, knocking her back. Shockwave grabs Cliffjumper as a hostage and tells the Autobots not to take another step towards them. He runs for the door and raises the alarm for the Decepticons. He orders the Constructicons to merge into Devastator. It looks like all is lost for the Autobots, but Optimus still has a backup plan. Another Skywarp portal opens up and a fully repaired Ultra Magnus and Wheeljack step through, ready for action. Or are they? Ultra Magnus takes one look at Shockwave, the Decepticon that tortured him for eons. He hesitates and then drops his weapon in terror. He apologizes to the Autobots and transforms to truck mode and flees the battlefield. The trauma at Shockwave's hand was just too much for him. Shockwave gloats and tells the remaining Autobots that since he broke Ultra Magnus's mind, now he, Devastator, and the other Decepticons will break their bodies. To be continued. Yeah, this was a good one. This had action, had a lot of, just a lot of world building and storytelling, and surprising ending. Like that was a surprise. I did not expect Ultra Magnus to lose his nerve like that, but also it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you were tortured for so long, you're going to come away with a little bit of PTSD. So that was really interesting. Like also unfortunate that the Autobots spend all their resources on repairing Ultra Magnus and then he just up and leaves. That's tough. And of course, yeah, I mean, I'm sure this week there are lots of jokes on social media about he can't deal with that now. So unfortunate for Ultra Magnus. I really like the art in this issue. The 2-page spread of Ultra Magnus and Wheeljack coming through that portal was excellent. Autobot symbol appeared to be drawn on there. Did not appear to be a stamp in that spread there. So looked really good. Hopefully that meets your approval, Daryl. Yeah, I'm really happy with this issue. The art, I thought the art was great. I like the juxtaposition of RC being consumed with revenge for Ultra Magnus, and then Carly trying to, having some perspective and like seeing that how like her quest for revenge was reflected in what RC was doing. So I like that parallel. I also liked the interactions between RC and Alita 1. Like those are two characters who I think have never shared much screen time in any continuity. And so seeing them here was really interesting, and seeing them as like just two kind of just warriors that have some friction. And Alita 1 has a lot of friction with all the Autobots on the Ark, I guess, because she didn't agree with them leaving in the Ark in the first place. So I like her being this, this kind of the soldier that was left to basically take up the battle back on Cybertron, and being resentful of all the Autobots who left for so long. So I really like that storyline. And Shockwave continues to be a huge asshole throughout the series. This is Shockwave is an asshole to everyone. He's an asshole to the Autobots. He's an asshole to the Decepticons. He's just like, I don't know why anyone likes. I guess Shockwave gets results for the Decepticons. That's one thing, but like he doesn't treat anybody nicely.
It's fear, 100%. Like the Decepticons are scared of him too.
Yeah, because he's
powerful.
He's powerful. Yep, powerful, sadistic. Has no issue with like torturing people. Enjoys doing it. So yeah, just a crazy guy, wild and crazy guy. So yeah, my one. I mean, this is not really a complaint, but I'm getting kind of anxious with the Autobots always being like in such desperate straits, like always being just right on the edge of total destruction and annihilation. I know that makes for excitement and edge of your seat and everything, but I want a little bit of. I want the Autobots to get a little bit of a breather at some point and build bring in some more Autobot characters who are fully functional and can give them a little bit, get them to equal footing at some point. And yeah, but also losing Ratchet like last issue or a couple issues ago was that hurt too. So Also, Jeremy, we gave you credit in our last review in issue 10 because you recognized Ultra Magnus way back when that bot was first introduced. Because at least I was not convinced that was Ultra Magnus, but you saw it, you called it, so full credit for you.
Yay! That's one on my list.
But why don't you tell us what your thoughts are for the rest of the issue?
I really enjoyed it, except for the ending. I mean, I enjoyed it, the writing, but the ending was really a bummer.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, you get that awesome 2-page spread, and then the next page, he's, the trauma gets to him.
Yeah.
There were a lot of callbacks in this issue that I really liked. You mentioned the Carly and RC kind of dynamic switching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reference back to Ratchet, that you have that one panel of kind of more classic looking artwork. It's got like the I can't remember what they're called, but the color dots, and I mean it's colored in that classic Marvelish style. I mean, it's still drawn like the other ones, but just the coloring makes it feel like it's retro, like you're reminiscing there. And then with Spike seeing the deer, so lots of great callbacks here that influence, like the deer influenced Optimus greatly in that early issue. And then here Spike is remembering, and it's influenced him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think you said he was in his wheelchair on Beachcomber's shoulder. I don't think he was. So I'm not sure why he's not drawn with the wheelchair there at all, or, it's not in there. So do they just leave it on the beach?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, I'm interested to see where that goes. I thought the action was really good. I loved that when RC was firing, it was like pew, pew, pew in the lettering. I'm just, my prediction, since I got the credit for the Ultra Magnus, I'm going to spin that credit right now and make a prediction. I think that's how it works. But I think that Soundwave is going to be a part of Shockwave getting his comeuppance, because you don't diss Soundwave's Ravage like that. I mean, it's Soundwave seemed like when he was leading the Decepticons in the early issues after he took over for Starscream, he seemed to have more logic behind all of his decisions. And Shockwave here, the logical one, seems to be more emotional in his decisions. And so I think Soundwave is going to do something that breaks the connection and traps him with his Decepticons on Earth as well. And, because he wants to save Ravage. So.
I think he's going to go all John Wick on him.
I don't know. I can't make it past the puppy part of that movie, the first one. So
that is the hardest part of the movie.
Yeah.
So that's all you need. That's the entire motivation of the 4 movies.
Yeah. He might. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to team up with the Autobots at all, but I think his view of the Decepticon leadership, it varies from Shockwave. So it's a great issue. The next one is the end of the arc. So looking forward to seeing where it wraps up.
Mm-hmm. I still am wondering, like, how this monumental event of a planet like appearing in the sky above the Earth, like no one mentions it, or no one, like 6 months later, no one is like, remember when the planet like just appeared in the sky?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to show up in one of the G.I. Joe books at some point. Maybe G.I. Joe #1.
In all the crap that happens, I'm sure a planet showing up in the sky is just going to be like another Tuesday with all the other stuff that's going to happen. That, like, they're not going to keep bringing it up. It's just going to be like, Wednesday again. Guess they're blowing up Tokyo now.
Well, I mean,
yeah, maybe
GI Joe. Oops, that's not the right one. GI Joe #1 comes out fairly soon, right?
November.
November. Okay. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some of these things at least be referenced in that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not really like showing any of, but like having like a massive object come this close to the Earth would do some crazy, like just with gravity would do stuff. Like some stuff would happen. People would notice.
Nah, it's fine. It's a sci-fi book about robots that turn into cars and crap.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yes. Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, we have to suspend our disbelief a lot in these things. So,
yeah,
I get where you're coming from. Believe me, but sometimes you just got to be there for the ride.
All right, Dr. Pants. Well, take us for a ride with your review.
Oh boy, what an issue! What an issue! Number one, why is Beachcomber getting some of the most beautiful pages in these books? That first page of the book of like him on the like motorized surfboard thing, that page is absolutely beautiful. I love that. And I know in the last issue he got some of the best ones. So is this like who drew the book? Jorge Corona?
Yeah.
Yeah, just I think he's got a soft spot for Beachcomber. I think that might be it, but still really good. I think people know by now that I hate Alita 1 in this book. She drives me insane. So when RC just socked her in the face, thank you. I have been wanting someone to do that for so long. And in all honesty, it's not that I don't understand Alita 1. I get it. Millions of years or thousands of years or whatever at war, and it seems like she was abandoned by Optimus. But like, can she like tone it down a little bit? They're in the middle of their own problems, and it's not like it was their fault. It's not that like they just said, "Hey, we're gonna go get some Energon or find something to help," and then just never called back. There were extenuating circumstances. But no, when Alita 1 said to RC, like, you made a choice, you abandoned the cause, she punched her. Oh, God, was that cathartic. That was good. That was really good. The other thing with Alita 1 I wanted to point out is I actually think that on both sides, Autobots and Decepticons, you actually have some really cool foils going on here, or same representations, where I think Optimus and Soundwave are very similar representations on both sides. Optimus cares. He is focused on an objective, but he cares about his troops and he cares about like how things are done. Soundwave was the same way, and that's why Soundwave was a good leader for the Decepticons in the absence of Megatron. Shockwave and Alita 1 are very similar. Shockwave does not care about anyone other than getting results, and Alita 1 is being very similar to that. Because Optimus says, we got to go rescue our friends. She's like, rescue our friends? What about all the other ones who are already dead? Why care? And it's like, because they're still alive. We can rescue them. Do you not see that? And when Optimus is like mourning Ratchet, she's like, another dead on the pile. It's like, bitch, please. Like, come on. So she's very much like reminding me of Shockwave, just on the opposite side, and it's kind of interesting to see that, especially because Shockwave's the one in charge of the Decepticons, but Optimus is the one who's leading the Autobots, and they're listening to him, and they're following in order. And I think thematically we're going to see that like play out. And I'm with Jeremy on this. Soundwave is going to be the end of Shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be a physical altercation. I think Soundwave is going to do something to screw over Shockwave. And I would not be surprised if the Combaticons did something similar. Just because we get that bit of them asking, like, well, we're a Brawl and Onslaught. And he's just like, shut up. And they're holding half a Brawl. Like, we know Onslaught's chilling with his top half, and I think Vortex is like carrying the bottom half with him. And it's like these guys care about their brothers, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I also think the whole thing with Beachcomber and Spike is going to play into this, and it might also involve then Ultra Magnus too. But there's a lot of pieces set up here that are going to have to come together.
The Ultra Magnus drove off into the ocean.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe he'll show up near the island where Beach Cobra and Spike are. Oh, and Jeremy, you brought up the pew 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 thing. Like, there is so much of that in this issue, and I love it. When Shockwave backhands Jazz and it just says slap in big letters, it's so good. Also, Jazz giving him that shit-eating grin, and he's like, I'm gonna keep playing my tune. It's so good. It's so good. And also the page when the Constructicons combine into Devastator, and it's that bottom row of panels, all of them changing, and it just says into Devastator. It's amazing. Like, the artwork in this book is absolutely fantastic. I love it. That 2-page spread of Magnus and Wheeljack just showing up with Wheeljack just like, oh yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And I want to be upset that Magnus left. And I am upset, but I completely get it. He was tortured for how many years under this guy, and he can't take it. Like, I think this book does a really good job of kind of showcasing how this war has affected so many different characters. Because Alita 1, I understand why Alita 1 is the way she is. I get it. I just hate it. I understand why Ultra Magnus is the way he is. I understand why they all are, and I think they do a good job of it. And Charles, I agree with you too. I want a little bit of a breather. God, the Autobots, this sucks. Mm-hmm. Come on. Something the good's gotta give. It is intense reading these issues.
After the resolution of this, we need an issue of them just kind of lounging and Optimus Prime playing basketball.
We need a beach episode. We need, just like in anime, we need a beach episode. Let's get everybody in swim trunks playing volleyball, breaking open the watermelon. We need a filler episode to
and it could even be like outside of the normal numbering, just be a special issue and
annual.
Yeah, do an annual.
Do an annual, like the Valentine's Day issue they did with IDW. Do something like that. Just give me some joy, for the love of God.
Or just some breathing time.
Yeah, that too. Whew. I think
one thing I did notice there was a subtle X-Men reference here too with Shockwave. Shockwave says, "To me, my Decepticons," as he's running out with Cliffjumper. So I thought that was funny.
I was wondering if you were going to catch that.
Yeah,
that was good. I forgot about that. Also, when he kicks RC and he just yells out, and like it's just written in there, "fools," and the yellow the same as his eye. I cannot get over how good the artwork is in this, and how much fun they are having with the artwork in this book. But I think that's all I got now.
Awesome. All right, Daryl, it's your turn to shine.
Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good book. The clash between, like you guys have said, the clash between RC and Alita 1 was great. I enjoyed seeing them have a bit of a face-off. I mean, I agree with a lot of what all of you have said. I'm not sure how the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the one. Outlast the needs of the many. So I mean, it's kind of reverse here from Spock, but it's a bit backwards because Magnus. I mean, obviously he's a big guy and should be able to handle a lot of stuff, but he's kind of broken. I feel as though there's going to be like a final act comeback for him. Like he's going to get up his resolve and kind of come back swinging. But this book, these guys have proven to be able to throw some curveballs at us. I want to say I have absolutely no idea where the Beachcomber storyline is going. What is he doing? Like, yeah, he's got Astro Train tied up. That's great. We don't know how he did it. but he's tied up and he's a pacifist. Okay, great. He's got Spike. Okay, cool. What is the point of his storyline? He's noticed that the Decepticons are killing all the mammals in the ocean. Okay, cool. He's a pacifist. What are you gonna do? Like, what is this? What is his storyline? What is his purpose right now? I'm very curious to find out what the plan is for Beachcomber, because he feels like he's just going to be like kind of walking around showing us stuff.
I really think it is going to be Ultra Magnus is going to play in, and the pacifism is going to be something with Ultra Magnus. And also, they aren't mammals. It's all the creatures, not just the mammals in the sea.
I'm sorry.
But the whales, guys.
Someone would email.
The whales.
I mean, you can on that first page with Beachcomber, you can see like all the little silhouettes of animals being sucked up into that big vortex thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, I think it's not so much Beachcomber. I think Beachcomber is playing into Spike, and I think Spike will have a bigger impact on somebody. I think it might be Spike talks to Ultra Magnus and tries to help him through it,
because I mean, he's been through a lot physically,
right? But he's going to be like, you can't just run; you've got to fight, like, and because he made the comment that, like, what was the line? I can't fight, but we have to do something.
He says fight. What is it? Fighting feels wrong, but
I don't think I have to. I just know I can't run away.
Yeah.
And the fact then that you have Beachcomber is
in a
running.
Wheelchair. Come on.
Oh man, Daryl.
Wow.
Oh man.
He can roll out.
Send your letters to Charles.
Nope, it's Daryl.
No one's ever disabled as long as they have courage. That's all I'll say.
What is that from?
Like that's from the Chip Chase
Simpsons.
G1.
Oh, okay. There is no way that was from The Simpsons. Wow.
The only other thing is I really enjoy the art in this. The inside the ship scenes, the Decepticon ship or fortress. Sorry, it's his fortress, right? So inside his fortress, there's some really great detail in the backgrounds. I'm always looking for the background shots. There's a few panels where there's really not a whole hell of a lot going on in the background. It's just kind of like everything's all foreground. But there's those few shots where you can definitely see all the Greeble going on in the background. I really appreciate that. The Devastator merging is just intense. Honestly, that's a insane sense of scale there. So it's very much appreciated for my Gestalt love. I love some gestalts. This was a good issue, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Yeah, it's I very much agree with the rest of you for a lot of the commentary here.
Also, are we made to believe that like when they combined it into Devastator, they broke open the roof in that place? Because I'm trying to look at that scene now, and like it looks like there's rubble and everything around. So
suspension of disbelief. Continue.
No. I'm if they broke open the roof, I'm hoping they did, because like that's awesome.
You see the like
the vortex, right?
Vortex and stuff. Yeah. I think you might have.
That's so cool.
Because I mean that at that point that's in the Nemesis because it's on Earth in the water.
Yeah, it's true. God, again, Jorge is just he must be having so much fun drawing this book. So I feel like there's so much stuff going on that's just absolutely amazing.
All right. Well, that is our review of Transformers number 11. Can't wait for the conclusion with Transformers number 12 next month. So look forward to that. I believe in this at the end of this issue, it says, September on sale September 11th. Oh, hopefully that's not a harbinger of anything bad happening.
Can't be afraid of a date. One thing I was going to mention is that we've talked about it before. Just a little continuation of comic book news here is that we do know that Jorge Corona is ending his like official run on issue 12, but he is coming back for a couple issues. We know that, and that but there is issue. Yeah, Jason Howard's taking over. But issue 13, for anybody out there who's a huge like comic book nerd and likes comic book art, issue 13 is going to have a blank cover, so you can get one of those. I was just kind of looking up on trying to find out all of this stuff about that issue 1 we were talking about, which is on August the 28th,
which will also have a blank cover.
Which will have a blank cover, yes. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, and there's a store exclusive that is doing foil Autobot and Decepticon covers. So if you're really interested in that too, those would look really cool. Anyway, just a couple things I came up with while I was not listening to the review.
Thanks, Daryl.
It was good. It was good. You did a great job.
At least he was working.
This is true. And at least he's honest.
I believe Jorge Corona is like he's only taking a 2-issue break. I think he's still going to be the regular artist after those 2 issues.
Yeah.
So
I would think after issues like this, he deserves a little vacation.
Maybe that means that those 2 issues are the beach episode.
Oh, and for people who didn't know, Daniel Warren Johnson is going to be the continuing writer until issue 24.
Oh wow! Okay.
Wow, 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, and that was before he won an Eisner, so he may continue on out longer.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them
2 Eisners.
Yeah, I could see them extending. Right. Based on how things are going, which right now they're going very well.
Wait, did he? I must have missed this. Did he win an Eisner for this book?
Yeah,
2 Eisners.
The
book 2 Eisners for the book for Transformers book.
He won. Yes. He won for writer artist, and the book won. I don't remember the category, but
for best ongoing series. Yeah.
Wow.
First time Transformers comic has gotten nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good for us being Transformers fans. This is a good time for us.
Yeah.
For comics.
Yep. That's my favorite. That's my jam. That's my favorite part of the Transformers fiction. It's the comics. So.
Probably my jelly. The toys are my jam.
Okay. I did say Transformers fiction, so I don't know. There's not a lot of fiction in the toys, So.
No, there's not. That's why. Like the toys are my thing.
Yep. All right. Well, that's our review of Transformers number 11. So let's finish up the show with some convention news.
All right. And this is just one quick update for TFcon Baltimore, which is going to be November 1st through 3rd in Baltimore. Alex Milne has been announced as the next guest. Previously, we had announced that Peter Cullen was going to be there. So Alex Milne gets billing right under Peter Cullen. That's nice. So he's been involved in many comic series, particularly like More Than Meets the Eye, Transformers versus Rom, and the Unicron miniseries. So he will be there all weekend. He'll have prints, I'm sure, commissions. If you want a commission, you probably need to hit him up sooner rather than later because he will fill up super fast. So anyway, that is awesome. And I'm looking forward to more exciting guests at the show.
All right. That is the weekend before Election Day. So, I'll just leave that there. won't say anything else about that.
I mean, that is a pure fact.
Yes.
just stating a fact. That's it.
Yep. All right. Well, that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. As always, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. Those are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon. So thank you once again to John Forex Levengood, Demon Tech 82, and Steve C. Thanks for contributing so much. That's why we think you deserve a mention in every episode. And thank you, Dr. Pants, again for joining us this week and hanging out, doing the review. Hope you enjoyed it. So why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
Thank you so much for having me as always, guys. I greatly appreciate it. And I love talking the comics because the comics have been really, really good lately. You can find me. I'm sorry, what?
So they're your jelly.
They are my jelly. My jelly. Anyway, you can find me and my friends doing the Nerdstradamus thing. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link tree right there. Or if you're listening to this, it's in the show notes. You can go check us out. We're mostly on YouTube, but we are on all the socials. We post little videos on like TikTok and Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, I think. I don't know who's in control of Twitter, but mostly YouTube. So please check us out on YouTube where we've got our music videos and video game videos, and all kinds of dumb stuff that we just put out because, well, it's what we do. Got to get the stupid out somehow.
I just subscribed to your YouTube channel.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh, man, thank you.
I have to say, I had a hell of a time spelling it. I was trying to do it, and I had to look it up on your link tree.
It's right. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, but I was trying to do it before when I was like not on the show with you. So I was like, nerds, true, and it wasn't working.
Yeah,
so
I
like,
know. In the long run, that probably hurt us more than anything, but
Well, I mean, I was always wanting to do Nerdstra.
Yeah.
STRA, but not.
Yeah.
I was already subscribed.
Oh, man. Demon Tech 82 subscribed to us also. That's awesome. So
I've been subscribed for ages.
Thank you. Thank you. We're sitting pretty at 1,370 subscribers.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Well, that's it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.
And thank you, Dr. Pants, again for joining us this week and hanging out, doing the review. Hope you enjoyed it. And sorry, this was not in the script. Sorry,
Ran out of battery.